Not into two.
Stay back, or I'll shoot!
Drop the weapon now. This is your last warning.
On a rainy night in the quiet town of Brookhaven, 14-year-old Amani Carter stood trembling in the middle of the street, her small hands gripping her late father's old Navy pistol. The cold rain mixed with her tears as flashing red and blue lights painted her face. Just a week earlier, the police had announced that her father, Chief Petty Officer Marcus Carter, a decorated Navy SEAL, had died in a failed raid, accused of betraying his team and turning on law enforcement. But deep down, Amani knew that wasn't true. Her father was a man of integrity, disciplined, patriotic, and deeply loving. He taught her that courage wasn't about strength, but standing up for truth even when the world is against you. That night, grief and confusion boiled inside her until she could no longer hold it back. Standing before the same officers who signed his death report, her voice cracked through the rain. "You killed my daddy. Why did you kill my daddy?" The crowd gasped, phones raised, recording the heartbreaking scene. Police shouted for her to put the gun down, but she wasn't threatening them, she just wanted answers. Her small frame shook, her eyes filled with loss, when suddenly a deep rumble broke through the tension. 3 black SUVs screeched to a halt at the end of the street. From them stepped 13 men in tactical uniforms, Navy SEALs, their presence commanding silence. The leader, Commander Nathan Briggs, walked forward slowly, unarmed, and spoke with calm authority. "She's with us," he said, his voice steady as stone. The officers hesitated, unsure what was happening, but Amani's breath caught when she heard the name. Briggs. Her father had spoken of him as a brother. Then came the truth that would change her life forever. Briggs told her that her father wasn't dead. He had been undercover, investigating a secret ring of corrupt officers who were selling stolen military technology to criminals. When his cover was blown, the same men framed him as a traitor and staged his death. But Marcus had survived, rescued by his old SEAL team and hidden until they could safely expose the conspiracy. The reason he hadn't come home was to keep his family out of danger. Amani's tears mixed with disbelief. "He's alive," she whispered. Briggs nodded gently. "He's alive, and he's waiting for you." What followed was chaos in the best way. Federal agents arrived, evidence files were handed over, and the corruption within the Brookhaven Police Department began to unravel in real time. By sunrise, the story had gone national, Navy SEAL's death faked by corrupt cops. But for Amani, the only thing that mattered was the reunion she'd been dreaming of. Hours later, at a quiet airfield far from the city, she stepped off a helicopter and froze. Standing across the hangar was the man she thought she'd lost forever, her father, alive, scarred, but smiling through tears. "Daddy," she whispered, her voice breaking. Marcus turned, his arms open. "Come here, baby girl." She ran, sobbing, into his embrace. For a long moment, they just held each other, a father and daughter against the world. Marcus told her how proud he was, how her courage had brought justice, and how the love of his child had given him strength when he was ready to give up. Commander Briggs watched silently, the rest of the SEALs standing guard like silent protectors of a sacred moment. Soon, arrests were made. Sergeant Doyle and several officers were charged with conspiracy and treason. Marcus testified before Congress, exposing everything. When asked what kept him going, he said, "My daughter reminded me that truth isn't a weapon, it's a light." His testimony went viral across the nation. And then came the day that sealed their story forever. On the White House lawn, Marcus Carter was awarded the Navy Cross for extraordinary heroism. Cameras flashed, the crowd cheered, but instead of keeping the medal, he placed it around Amani's neck and said, "She's the real hero. She never gave up on me." The world fell silent before erupting into applause. That moment became a symbol of redemption, courage, and the bond between a father and daughter that even death couldn't break. In the years that followed, Amani grew into a strong young woman who spoke at schools, veterans events, and youth centers. She told her story not with bitterness, but with hope, reminding people that justice isn't found through anger, but through truth and love. "My father taught me that courage means standing up, even when you're shaking," she'd tell her audiences. And sometimes, standing up means standing for those who can't. Their story became a light in dark times, proof that no matter how powerful corruption may seem, truth always finds its way through. Because even in a world full of lies and loss, The love between a father and his daughter remains unbreakable, stronger than fear, stronger than death, and strong enough to bring a hero back home.